Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about importing data into QuickBooks. So have you been using Excel or different accounting software before QuickBooks? Let us show you how you're going to do your importing of data through CSV files or data migration process and exactly what to expect in your progress. So we're going to be looking at importing CSV files, third-party imports, and your expectations around migration and which is going to be the best for you. So let's get started. Okay, so on the screen, you're going to see a little dashboard of everything that you need to do. So you're not going to find any import functions here, but you're going to find it under your gear icon, under your tools. So there's import data and export data. So there's a few different ways to get data into QuickBooks Online. So if you are taking a client over or you have been using another software, the best way to do this is by importing, let's say, journal entries with balances and importing your customer list, your product and service list, your supplier list, and even bank data if you are catching up a while back. So there's a few different ways. Again, we can use a simple way, which is this data import, which imports different types of data. So if we go to import data, you can see that we can import bank data, customers, suppliers, chart of accounts, product and services, invoices, and bills. So you can really put your whole file up here just with using QuickBooks Online import data. So when you want to import anything, so let's say bank data, we're going to click on it and it's going to tell you to drag and drop a file. So we're going to select the file and then we're basically going to go and find our file where we need to import it. But if you don't have the file, you obviously need to download a sample. And you're going to be able to get a sample from any of these options. So I'm going to quickly go back to import data. And I'm going to choose customers. And it's going to tell you download a sample file. So you're going to download your sample file and build your customer list exactly to the sample file. So once it's done, you're going to be able to import all the data you need. So I'm going to show you quickly how to do, let's say, your product and services as an import. So we're going to browse, product and services. Then I'm going to go to next, and it's going to want you to map. So mapping is basically what is the QuickBooks Online field and what is your field in your Excel file. So you can see here that you've got your product and service name, you've got a SKU, but obviously you don't have that in your field, so it's not matched. You've got your type, your sales description, sales price, and it goes on. So anything that you don't have in your spreadsheet, you're going to see a no match. And here you can go and change this if it has made a mistake on the mapping. But if you're happy with everything, you're simply going to go to next. It's going to give you this whole box of things on which you're going to check, change if you need to, and then import. So here we can see there's little red boxes where there are issues. So we're just going to change these to non-stock and non-stock again. And then we're going to change this. So this is price including tax. So it's asking us, is this price inclusive or inclusive of tax? And it's exclusive. So I'm just going to change all of these to no. So you can see here, even if your file has issues, it's still going to let you import the file, and then you're going to just make changes. So again, the income account, because we're dealing with a multi-currency account, we just have to go and set it to the right account. Okay, and then here again, we've just got a few issues here. And you don't have to worry about your quantities, especially if there's no, if it's a service item or non-stock item. If they are actually stock items, you would need to put your quantity on hand and the date in which they are on hand. So if you're happy, all you're going to do is import. Just remember, if you ever want to change any prices, you can come export your product and services, import them again with the new prices, and then say override all values. So this is an easy, great way to import. And what you're going to do is you're going to click on the import button. So it's the same with all of these. You're going to download your sample file, put in your data, and upload and map and import. That's the steps to follow. So another way in which you can import data, you can manipulate data, is with a third-party tool. And this is called SASINT transactions. So I'm going to quickly skip over to that to show you exactly how the import process looks. So here we've got a dashboard. So the dashboard's basically going to show you what you've imported, but we're going to do a new import, and it's very easy. You're going to browse your file, and this file doesn't have to have any specific structure to it. This can be downloaded anywhere from your previous accounting system, or let's say you sell online and you want to import those sales invoices. You're going to export that from wherever your sales platform is and come and import it in. So in this exercise, we actually are going to import invoices. So I'm going to browse the file. Then it's going to tell me my file is here and do you want to submit it? So with SASINT, this is a great way of getting bulk invoices, bulk journals, bulk bills, anything you need to into QuickBooks Online. That is a great tool to use. So the sheet is obviously saved as a CSV sheet, and we're going to select the QuickBooks entity. What type do you want to add? So in this case, I want to do invoices, but here you can see you can do receive payments, you can do estimates, credit memos, sales receipts, refund receipts, expenses, checks, bills, bill payments, purchase orders, customers, vendors, employees, locations, classes, products and services, time activities, journal entries, bank deposits, transfers, vendor credits, credit card credits, accounts, and bank statements. So you have a whole lot of options in which you can import. But here I'm going to do an invoice. So as soon as I select on invoice, it's going to show me my file, and then it's going to show me what it needs to be in QuickBooks Online. And then your file header is what's in your file. So for example, I've got my invoice number, which I'm going to select as a transaction ID. I've got my customer name, which is customer. I've got my invoice date. So that's your transaction date. I don't have a due date. I don't have terms. I don't have email addresses. I don't have a payment method, and I don't have these last two. Then I come down to item details. So then we don't have a service date. The global tax calculation is obviously going to be tax exclusive. So this one, I'm just going to change it here to tax exclusive because obviously I don't have a file header for it. Then I don't have a service date. I do have a product and service. So that's your item. My product description is called a product tile. I don't need quantity. And I have the amount, which is under excluding VAT. Then my tax code is obviously under VAT. Here I can override it to say it needs to be standard, but it has been allocated already. Then we've got the tax amount, which I don't have. We can actually see I do. Then we've got the class and a class, so you don't have to put every detail in, and that's what's really nice. Then you've got any shipping details. So that's anything if you want to track your shipping, and you've got your billing address. So this is if you've got your customers' details in here, as well as any discounts. So you can see mine is very basic. I don't have a lot of information in, but as I scroll down, you are able to see everything that needs to show up on an invoice, up to the CC and BCC email address, payment reference numbers, anything here. And obviously here we can choose that it needs to be in Rand, but it will automatically populate to Rand. You've got your exchange rate if necessary, and it goes on. So you really have a lot of features. So if we want to preview our mapping, we're just going to click on the preview button, and it's going to show you where everything is going to link up to, right? So we've got everything, we're happy, and I'm going to click on continue. So now it's going to show that there's 5 items or 5 invoices that's going to be added. We've got 0 errors, and then we've got our different dates in. So what's nice is these are all customizable again. So you can see that it's put the time in, and I obviously don't want the time. I'm just going to go and delete the time. And then I'm just checking that everything else is fine. We've got our exclusive VAT amount. We've got our VAT amount. And then we've got the actual product and service amount, the tax amount. We've got your product and service. So this is actually incorrect. I need to go and edit this again. So the date needs to be month, day, year, but I can change it where it reads a different format. So in this case, I need to actually go change my date. You can see transactions. If you want to change any of these, there's validation, customers, vendors, product and services. You've got your different accounts, your journal entries, and your bank deposits. So I need to go and change my date to read this. Once that is done, we can go ahead and upload. So it's again telling me that the date format is wrong. So I can upload it anyway, or I can change it. So here it says it must be day, month, day, year, and that's actually wrong. I want to change it to day, month, year. So let me just go back and put it as day, month, year and save that. Now everything should be fine. And I'm going to upload again. Now you can see that this file has been is busy. So we're just going to wait a bit until it's processed. And then we're going to see how it populates in QuickBooks Online. So just remember while we're waiting is when you're doing updates or when you're doing conversions, be aware that this is quite a long process. You want to choose the right date in which you do your imports, so mainly at the end of a financial year, or maybe halfway through your current financial year. And you want to choose whether you want to bring in all the details or if you only want to take conversion balances. So I see that I do have an error here on this one. So I'm just going to check the error quickly, and then we're going to see if it uploads. And with us, I normally do take on conversion balances because normally when you're taking on a client or you're just changing from accounting systems, you're not always 100% sure if your history and your previous data is clean and up to date. So you rather do a cleanup and only take details that are you going to use in the future, and then at least you do have comparative balances. So just also remember, keep in mind that it's going to take a few weeks. If you currently need to operate, you'd probably need to operate on the other system until you get this up to date. Then you can just bring in that details. But bear in mind that it is a lengthy process, and it's always good to take your time to get it done correctly. So I just want to see what the errors were. And I think it is on my tax code. There we go. So make sure all your transactions have a sales tax rate. So I'm going to fix it. I think my form itself didn't have a sales tax rate. I want to go and actually change my, my form first, and then I'm going to upload it. So we're going to try and process this again. So I'm going to go to new import. So as you can see, it remembers everything that I've mapped. So I'm just going to quickly come here and change my tax rate, which was the problem. And then I'm going to import it. I just want to change the dates. It will import, and let's hope that the dates do process correctly. So it's giving me an error. Just want to see. Okay, so it says I'm actually just going to exclude that. And then everything else has been imported. So now we're going to go to QuickBooks. I'm going to go to invoices. And there you go, my invoices that I've imported. So we can go and open an invoice. And here you can see everything's been created. Your customer, your invoice date, your invoice number, your amount plus the VAT, and you've got your item. And that's that. Your invoices have been imported. So really, once you get the hang of it, once your file's correct, it's really going to be a smooth process, especially if you have bulk invoices that you need to import. That's everything to do with importing on QuickBooks Online. Thank you.